Good morning from Cozumel. Carnival and Margaritaville are pulling in behind us. But she's warm and it feels good. Love it. Oh, and happy Cinco de Mayo. Didn't plan that at all, that I was going to be in Mexico on that day.
Was this your card?
No.
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 It's 4 of diamond.
Belize. Feeding.
Hello.
Oh, I can't. Oh, yep, you're in there.
Good. I'm not good. I'm not. I can't sing, so help me out. Backwoods, Tennessee byway. One arm on the wheel. Hold fast, sorry. Hold mother with the other. A sweet, soft southern thrill. Worked out all week, got a little jingle on a Tennessee Saturday night. It could go better. I'm together with my Dixieland delight. $1
On a beer!
mountain moonlight. Uptight, make it look like clothes were dubbing on the Mason Dixon line. It's my life, oh so right, with my Dixieland delight. There we go, there we go. Yeah. We got it. White tail buck deer, much on clover, red tail hawk, sitting on the limb, jovial groundhog, Croatian bullfrog, free as a feeling in the wind. Home company girl, gonna give me a whirl on a Tennessee Saturday night. Lucky the 7,
first off, apologize in advance for how long it has taken to get these videos out. Braden and I have like the most insane, basically May and June. Like we've had something going on every single weekend. We've not really had time to breathe, and work has been really busy. Like been working a little bit longer hours than I usually do, and Braden's been really busy at work as well. It is Father's Day today. Considering we got off the cruise ship like May 10th, I believe, it's June 21st today. It's pretty bad. I was truly hoping to have all the videos done by end of May. That didn't obviously happen. We're getting there though. I decided to do this cruise series a little different than the last one. I did take more videos this trip, but still like not as many as I was hoping to. So I decided let's just put all the ports into one video, compile it so then it's not like, you know, 3 to 5 minute long videos with me talking for like 15 minutes afterwards. So hopefully this is a little bit smoother and you can just see like all the ports in one. And then there'll be one more video after this one that is the last sea day, and then kind of recapping the whole cruise, our thoughts on it, and what our last trip of 2027 is. Wait, it's not 2027, it's 2026. I was doing some wedding planning right before I started filming this, and so 2027 is when our wedding is, so that is why I said that. Don't mind me though, obviously this cruise was about a month and a half ago, so I did have to cheat and pull out some bad boys here. Anyone who has not cruised NCL, this is like your daily itinerary. They call them freestyle dailies at the top there, but basically it says like the cruise port, weather, and then when you open it, it has, well, on the front it has like all the major things that are going on, and then in the inside it has like the big schedule of literally everything. So I did have to pull these out because, like I said, it's been a month and a half ago, and I want to make sure I say the right things on the right days. So if you see me referencing these, that's why, because I just don't have that great a memory. So first off, first cruise port was Cozumel. This one looks like it was a long day. It looks like 7 a.m. to all aboard was 4:30. We did Paradise Beach. Paradise Beach is like an all-inclusive, all you can eat, all you can drink, which includes alcohol, and then had obviously the beach. There's a pool and like a fun park area that was an additional cost, as well as like paddle boarding, and then they did have some local people who were like renting jet skis and all that stuff. Sorry if you hear noise in the back. It's a beautiful day out and we have our windows open. So Paradise Beach, since it was all inclusive, we got there fairly early. I would say, I believe we were there by 8 because I think that's when they officially open. People were already there by the time we got there, so if for some reason you end up booking Paradise Beach, you could probably get there earlier and they'll let you in. We decided when you get there, you have a choice of either going to the beach or the pool as like your main home base, but obviously you can travel in between them. We decided we're more beach people than pool people. I think that's just like the Iowans in us because we don't get a beach in Iowa, so we want to hang out by the beach as much as possible. And so we went to, like, it was like the second row, and you have basically 2 main servers that will take care of you the whole day. I don't remember their names now. They were fantastic. I have their cards, so I'm pretty sure they're in our shadow box now that we collect from this year. But they were so good. I apparently still have the wristband, Paradise Beach all-inclusive. We had 2 wristbands as well. One of them was just like, hey, they're good, they can get in. And then the other one was for, we did pay extra for the like little fun park in the ocean, and that included paddleboarding as well. If I said kayaking before, I definitely meant paddleboarding, because I had never gone paddleboarding and I really wanted to do it, so that's what we did. But food, drink wise, that is standard between everyone. So when you get there, you settle down, you can literally start drinking right away. And I definitely did. Pretty sure we, between the two of us, had God knows how many food and drink things. And when it was all said and done, it was really good bang for your buck. I want to say, was it like 60 a person? Something like that. 60 or 70. I thought it was a great deal considering I got to go paddle boarding. The service was phenomenal. Food and drink wise, you can eat to your heart's content. And they were so attentive. You would, like, they had maybe about 4 rows each, and Paradise Beach was not full that day either. I would assume on a time like spring break, like we obviously went early May when a lot of schools are still in session, even colleges were not out quite yet, so it was not crazy insanely busy. So they were very attentive. Like they were checking on us at least once every 10 minutes, if not quicker than that. And if we did need them, they were not that far away. But basically, and you had this big menu. Almost everything was included. There's a couple things. I believe it was like a little bit higher end alcohol that was not included. We were A-okay with just your typical, like I had some smoothies, Bahama Mama, Sex on the Beach, like fruity drinks, and then Brayden had a few beers and he was happy with that. It was just like beers local to Mexico. And then food-wise, it was tacos, pizza, chips. I don't remember if they had any dessert options. I don't think that they did, but we ate plenty of food. That is for sure. But anyways, they would come take your order. They put on this little like iPad thingy, and it would get sent to the kitchen. Literally 2 minutes later, someone would bring food and drinks. Not even exaggerating that. They were so fast. Like there was one time I went to the bathroom because I'm like, oh, it's going to take a little bit of time to get food. No, it was already there by the time I got back. That was fantastic. Otherwise, that was my main, just like, kudos to you guys. And I would do it again. I have nothing but positive things to say about it. I will say, which this is just our general impression of the Western Caribbean versus how we went to like Eastern and Southern back in March. The ocean is not as beautiful as, the other side of the Caribbean. The water is just not as crystal blue. So don't get your hopes up that you're going to like see your feet in the water. It was definitely a little bit on like the murkier side. A little bit more fish swimming around as well. So if that does bother you, I don't know if that's just like a Western Caribbean thing, but just keep that in mind. But overall, like, I would literally give that, like, a 9.5 out of 10. With that half a point just being, it's just not as nice of a beach as Eastern and Southern Caribbean. But I feel like it's great bang for your buck, and the service is wonderful, and we had a really good time. Back on the ship. Looks like that night, I could truly not really tell you what like dining options we did at this point. I remember we went to one of the restaurants, and that was the last night. We went to the Italian restaurant one night. I don't think we would probably go to the Italian restaurant again. Oh, we were on the Escape. I don't know if I've said that. It was just okay. I had lasagna, and it wasn't just not my favorite. So I'd probably skip out on the Italian restaurant and go and do something else. We were with Brayden's mom and dad for a good chunk of the trip. They went to Moderno and spoke very highly of it. We have never tried Moderno. It's something that I'd probably consider doing. But Brayden and I went to an Italian restaurant by ourselves. We also, as a group, went to Food Republic, which was wonderful. I love Food Republic. That was like an order on the kiosk. If I remember right, you got 4 things per person, but obviously, like, if you're in a big group, you can share so many of those things. I like probably 30 pieces of sushi. It was so bad, but so worth it in the end. I love sushi, and I would say that was probably our favorite specialty dining, was that one. We did not go to the French restaurant this time. I think we were trying to like do different ones that we hadn't done on the Epic. So it was definitely Food Republic. We did teppanyaki again. That's always just a crowd favorite. We love teppanyaki. That was our first sea day, and you saw that in the first video. Gosh, what was our last one? We didn't do Cagney's. We didn't do Moderno. Maybe I'll think of it. I think the Italian restaurant was called La Cucina, if I remember correctly. But like I said, it was just not our favorite. We really like Food Republic just because you could try a little bit of everything. And I'm such a sushi lover that I was just like, hey, okay with it. We were in the Haven again, went to the Haven restaurant many times. And I will probably talk about it more in the last video of ours. Haven's wonderful. It's one of those things where I don't know if I'll ever be able to go back to doing normal life on a ship again. I am looking right now to see what the other specialty dining was because I don't remember. Okay, they have Cagney's, Food Republic, teppanyaki, La Cucina, Le Bistro. Is that what we did? I wonder if that's the other one that we did. We might have done the seafood restaurant. The fact that I don't really remember anything about it, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I am going to pause this video though really quick because my battery's about to die. Okay, try this again. Like I said, I don't really remember anything about the seafood place. I'm going to guess it was just like, okay. But Haven food was wonderful as always. There was only one thing that both Braden and I tried that we were like, probably never again. It was like the pancakes, I believe. There's like not your typical pancakes, but it was a breakfast thing. But it was great. One thing I did take advantage of that I 10 out of 10 recommend is room service. We had a really early morning excursion in Costa Maya. Like we had to be basically lined up as soon as the ship ported. That's the right word. Docked. And so I was like, we're not gonna have enough time to go to the Haven restaurant and make it like to our meeting spot on time. So took advantage of room service. That's a great experience. That was my little clip that I was eating on the balcony. I do that every single day now. Honestly, I probably would just like skip the whole Haven restaurant and just get room service every morning because I got like toast, omelet, potatoes. It was wonderful. But anyways, back to not talking about food. The first night, or first port night, I did put a little clip of it. The main show was Bachelors of Broadway. Nothing really wrong with it. Both Braden and I agreed that it just shouldn't be on the main stage. It did not captivate a lot of people's attention, I would say. They were great singers. It's just, I feel like if you're gonna be in the main stage, you gotta like perform like you're in the main stage. And they did a lot of sitting, just like singing without, you know, I don't know, a lot of like crazy entertainment. It's hard because we had literally just seen Choir Man the night before, which is a phenomenal show. So to go from that to Bachelors of Broadway was just a little bit of a disappointment. But again, it was an okay show. Good singers, just not super entertaining. And I think that was really all we did that night. I don't believe we went to Sid Norman's again, but maybe we did. We might have. I don't really know now. But yeah, that was the first day. Second day was Honduras, and this might be one of my favorite cruise ports ever now. I did a lot of research on Honduras because I kept reading there are so many cool things about Honduras, but the problem with NCL is they didn't have an excursion that like took all of those things. So I kind of took a risk and I booked a like private tour. No regrets whatsoever. We went with Victor Bodden, I think is how you say it. He has his own kind of animal sanctuary, and I think he's like fairly well known among kind of the Honduras tourism department, and a lot of people did use him as well. And I had read lots of pretty good reviews about it. We wanted to do, or I wanted to do so many different things that still they didn't quite have like a specific tour set up to do all those things that I wanted to do. So they did have the option of a private tour. It's on the pricier side. I don't quite remember how much it was. I feel like in total it was around $280, I think, for both of us. But when you consider we had a private guide with our own vehicle, we didn't have to rely on anyone else. That's a pretty sweet gig. So what we did, got off the cruise ship fairly early, like basically as early as we could. And we walked down to where all like the tours, companies are located in the cruise port right there. And Victor Bodden's like literally one of the first ones. Met him there, and then he called our driver, and our driver guided us to his car. He gave us the option like right away. He was like, what do you guys want to do first? Because we were doing ziplining, monkeys and sloths, and snorkeling. I was like, let's go do monkey sloths first just because it can warm up. We can do snorkeling when it's a little bit warmer out. So we went over to Victor Bodden's sanctuary, and it's literally the monkey and sloth sanctuary. That's a really cool experience. So we get there, and that is where they collect the money for the entire day. So that's where we had to pay them for the driver, and then all the excursions on top of that. If I remember correctly, if you paid for the zip lining, then the monkey and sloth experience was free, I think is how that worked, which is a pretty good deal, honestly. You could spend a few hours just doing that and like call it your day. But we obviously wanted to do a little snorkeling, and I'll explain why in a second. But checked in, gave them the money. They encourage you to pay in cash there. There's a ridiculous tax on if you use a credit card. It's like 19%. Wild. I was like, I am not paying 19% fee on an already like $300 experience. So paid them in cash. They are very, very, very particular about paying in USD. Like your bills cannot have creases, rips, whatever. Like I gave them the finest couple $100s I had. Like when I went to the bank before we left, I was like, if you can, give me your crisp, clean $50 bills. And they gave me like almost brand new ones. So I had no issues, but I did hear someone else say like, oh, do you have a better $20 bill? And they did, so it's no big deal. But just keep that in mind when you are paying cash. Make sure you have your crisp bills ready. So a lot of people just go to his sanctuary, just do the monkeys and sloths. So they actually took a zip lining first. And it honestly worked out because one thing that we were not prepared for is it was hot. A lot hotter than our cruise back in March. Like it was 90 degrees with some humidity. It was feeling toasty. So I had never gone ziplining before. This was something I was really looking forward to this trip, and did not disappoint. I will tell you that. We climbed up a bunch of steps and went on probably a dozen different zip lines. There was one that he said oh, make sure you like turn that way. It's the best view of the whole thing. And it was the ocean. It was a wonderful view. And then we had a guy following us, taking pictures, and then took a few videos. I'd highly recommend getting that package. It was $10 to do that. And he gave us an entire like Google Drive full of videos and photos that I have access to. And they turned out great. And they're some of my favorite pictures and videos from the trip because I didn't take a GoPro or anything like that. Brayden didn't take his GoPro. So I was really happy to see that they had an option for that. So got done with zipline. We were drenched in sweat by this point. It's just hot. Like we're in the jungle basically. So it's really humid. Climbing steps. But it was a good time. Then after that, we went back downstairs and did monkeys and sloths. Something new that Honduras had to implicate, I think it was last year. You used to be able to hold the sloths. You no longer can. You can no longer pet them as well. They are one of the sanctuaries that does enforce that rule. They did tell us that there are some in the area that are not following that rule, but they are one that does follow the rules. So if you're a rule breaker and you want to hold the sloths, don't go there. But you can literally get so up close and personal with them. Like my camera was like to their face and they were not fazed by it. So first thing you do is you go into the little monkey area, and it's completely optional if you do want the monkeys to climb on you. I'm like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. I'm gonna let them climb all over me. So they tell you like take off your sunglasses, hats, like put them in your bag. They will take them, they will throw them. Well, my monkey climbed on me, opened my bag on my back, and took my sunglasses and still threw them. They're little shysters, so just be careful. My sunglasses are literally like $5 on Amazon, so I did not care. But if you are wearing some nice sunglasses, like really bury them in your bag because they will grab them. I think I put a picture in the video that his like butt is like on my head. That was because he was opening my bag and reaching in and grabbing them and throwing them. So keep that in mind. After the monkeys, you walk over to the sloths. There was a baby sloth when we were there. And fun fact, sloths only poop once a week. Just so you know, fun fact of the day. But like I said, you cannot hold them, but you can get up and close and personal, take pictures with them, and admire them. It's an animal that I don't think I've ever seen a sloth, honestly. That might have been the first time. Then after that, the last kind of part of the experience is they have a bird sanctuary, and it's, I think, just parrots in there. And same thing, parrots will just sit on your shoulder or your head, depending on where your guide puts the food. Ours just sat on shoulder, and I was okay with that. I am curious. I did not have a tank top on. I thought about this before we did this tour, because I knew that we were going to have animals and stuff crawling on us. They do have sharp claws, so if you are a female or a male wearing a tank top, keep that in mind, that they may dig into your shoulder a little bit. I heard one lady kind of say like, ow, that kind of hurt. So keep that in mind. It did not bother me whatsoever wearing like a short sleeve shirt. Then after that, we went snorkeling, which is probably about one of the highlights of the whole trip. We have absolutely zero pictures and videos from this experience because obviously Brayden didn't take his GoPro. That is the only way we could have taken any videos. I'm not putting my camera underwater. I don't trust myself. I don't trust the camera. I had read that Honduras was very well known for snorkeling. It's part of the something American reef that stretches from like part of Mexico into Honduras. So it was kind of a non-negotiable. And again, I have never gone snorkeling and I really wanted to. So the nice thing about this being the private tour is this kind of turned into a whole like private experience for us. When we ziplined, we were the only two in our group. We did join another couple for the monkeys and sloths, but then for snorkeling, completely by ourselves as well. So our driver took us to this little area. We boarded this tiny, teeny little boat, and then they took us out. It's a very popular place to snorkel. There's lots of other like tour groups out there, so I knew that we were in a good spot. So we snorkeled, I think, for about 45 minutes, and we snorkeled fast and we snorkeled hard, but it was beautiful. He did take some little fish food and like threw it by me, so the fish like all were swimming around me. It was funny because I think our guide thought I got nervous because I was like going like this, and I was like, no, I was just afraid that I like my fins or myself was like hitting them. But it was really cool to have fish swarm around you. We saw a lot of lobster. We didn't see anything crazy. Like Brayden saw barracuda when he snorkeled last year. Did not see that. We saw a school of fish that we kind of swam and followed for a little bit. But again, nothing super crazy, just a lot of really pretty coral. It was gorgeous and it felt wonderful. After sweating our butts off for a couple hours, I was totally a-okay with getting in that ocean water. One thing I did like, and I don't know, Brady said they didn't do this on his snorkeling trip last year, is they dumped like fresh water on us after the fact. Because number one, like you get it, you're in the ocean, that water is salty. So to be able to have some like just fresh water dumped on you, one, super refreshing, and two, gets that salt off your lip. But yeah, I think we were out there for about an hour total, because it was only about 10 minutes, I would say, to get out there. And then they wrap the, I don't know, what's a life vest, like around your waist, so you don't really have to worry about like drowning or anything like that. He did say that if we want to take it off and like go to the bottom, he was more than happy to do that for us. But I was a newbie at this. I was like, no, I'm good. Just keep this on. But that was definitely a highlight, and I want to go snorkeling so bad in the future. But yeah, then after that, again, we were with our private tour guide, so that was all the excursions that we had planned. Brayden has a collection of beer bottles from every place that we've been together, and so we did not get any beer bottles when we were in Cozumel, but we want to make sure we go in Honduras for him. So our guide was like, hey, what do you guys want to do? And I said, do you know a spot that would just have like some local beer that he could get a beer bottle from? So he took us just down the road a little bit and dropped us off at a little kind of bar and restaurant area. Hung out there for like 45 minutes or so. And then he came back and picked us up. Then I was really surprised. I figured that this would be an all-day thing, like between zip lines, monkeys, sloths, snorkeling. I'm like, boy, we're gonna be cutting it close, like boarding the ship again. We were done before noon. I think we got off at like 8:15, so we still had a good amount of time. So I think we were kind of like, yeah, I think like we're done, like we're ready to like go back to the cruise port. I don't think he was used to people saying that. I think he was like, are you sure? Like you don't want to do anything else? So he actually took us on a loop all the way around Honduras, and kind of pointed out different things and fun facts. We did end up in kind of a sketchier part. It was like Cox and Holt, I think, which is where Carnival docks their ship. Unless I'm getting this backwards, and that's where we docked it. But it gives you a little bit more perspective of what more Honduras life is like that's not in the tourist area, because where tourist area is very nice. Then we got dropped back off at the cruise port area. Again, it was really like 12:30 at this point. We were not out there super long. Brayden was starving, so we found a little kiosk, and he really wanted tacos. Found a little area that we just ate some tacos. He found some hot sauce that I'm surprised hasn't like said anything since we got home, but we went on the massive hunt for this hot sauce after he had it. It's local to Honduras. I've tried to like find a way to get it shipped home to us, but we couldn't find it in like any of the gift shops or anything. So if we are ever back there, we're gonna ask to go to a grocery store and he can stock up on it. But it was really good hot sauce. Yeah, went back on the ship, and I don't really remember what we did. I think we just kind of hung out, chilled. Like I said, this is so hard because it's like a month and a half ago. which is so funny because I told myself I wouldn't do this again, and I still did. That night looks like highlighting show was Sid Norman's Rumors. I know for a fact we went to this. They did the entire Fleetwood Mac album that is called Rumors. Great show. The entertainers are really good for that. And then I do remember I saw like there's a Best of ABBA show or Best of ABBA party. We definitely did that for a little bit as well. But that was Honduras. Next day, Harvest Caye, Belize. I'm pretty sure is how you pronounce it. I know there's always a little discrepancy on how everyone pronounces that Caye. But I think it's Harvest Caye. We were not out there very long. It was, I'm trying to see, arrival 7:30. I don't even think we got off the ship till like 9:30, and I think we were back on the ship by like 12:30. Harvest Caye is Norwegian's kind of private area in Belize. I did read and I did see it. You can take a ferry from Harvest Caye to the main island of Belize. We didn't do that. It seemed like, I don't know, like not a headache, but I was a-okay just sitting on the beach for the day. We parked it at a little area. I will say there are signs that say jellyfish are very active in that area of the ocean. We didn't come across any. We did hear someone say they saw one that was kind of hanging out by the rocks, but I didn't see any. And the water actually felt pretty good as well. But like I said, we were only out there for a few hours, so I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. We didn't explore a ton of Harvest Caye. There was a lot of activities going on, though. It was a really nice day. We saw parasailing. There was jet skiing tours. And like I said, there was quite a few people taking the ferry over to like the main area of Belize. If I were to do Harvest Caye, I might look into like getting like a little cabana by the pool area. I feel like that's more of the place that people hung out. But again, only out there for a few hours. Didn't really have too much to say about that. That afternoon we went and hung out at the Haven's Sun Deck, way at the top of the ship. And we just had a nice little relaxing day because Honduras kicked our butt. We got some good exercise that day. That night, looking at the Freestyle Daily, Choir of Man was back in the theater. I did not go again. I debated it because it was a really good show, but I did not go again. I let other people go. But I don't even think I don't know if we ever did anything that night. I think we just kind of wandered and chilled a little bit, but so yeah, I think we just we did a little bit of bar hopping, I think, and that was that day. And then our last stop was Costa Maya, Mexico. This was the day that we had an excursion. Oh, sorry, there's a plane flying by. We had an excursion booked through NCL. It was the Mayan Ruins, and it was Chacchoban. Chacchoban? Is that how you say it? I think that's how you say it. And that was the one that left like pretty early in the morning. So you get to Costa Maya. When you get to the Costa Maya cruise port, which, by the way, we did dock. I've heard it's called Costa Maybe because I can see why. I was actually quite surprised that we docked, considering the waves were like crashing over the pier when we were there. We heard several workers say they had missed it both weeks prior, but we ported, so we were there. We're actually the only cruise ship in port too, which they said was really odd. When you are able to port at Costa Maya, they're like, oh my gosh, usually there's at least 2 to 3 ships here. So the fact that they were the only ones, they're like, that's odd. But like I said, you get off the cruise port area, and then you can either go to the left or you go to the right. And right is all the tours, and that is where we went. We had, I think it was just an hour, and it was an hour bus ride to the Mayan Ruins, and it was Chocchoban. Anyone who is familiar with Mayan Ruins knows there are thousands of Mayan ruins across the area. That is just one of them. And it was very fascinating. I have 0 videos from Chocchoban because it was an extra cost to film. It wasn't crazy. It was, I want to say like $5, but I was like, I'm totally okay with just taking some pictures and inserting them. It was something with copyright. I don't know if the guides like follow a script that's copyrighted, but that is why we could not film without paying like a permit basically. But it was very fascinating. It was freaking hot. I'm actually shocked that this thing says 84 degrees. There is no way. It would had to been hotter than 84 degrees. This might have been Costa Maya, those 84, but like I said, we were an hour away from Costa Maya. It had been pushing 90. Like, we were all dripping sweat. The tour is nice. They do provide you with a water bottle, and the tour itself, I think, is an hour and a half, if I remember correctly. And it went by pretty quick. A lot of it is like shaded. Not a ton of it is like in the bright blazing sun, so if you are concerned about like getting overheated, we weren't overheated. It was just hot and we were sweating our butts off. It was funny. At one point, Brayden decided to distract the entire cruise group because we were in this little jungle area and we heard like commotion behind us. Some monkeys were like swinging from tree to tree, and he of course was like pointing, and then everyone else went like this, and I was like, good job, Brayden, way to interrupt the entire cruise group tour here. So we all had to stop and watch the monkeys for a little bit. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, interesting facts about that. One thing that's wild to me is they're still discovering the ruins. He pointed out lots of different mounds that are like, yeah, see that mound there? There's probably ruins under there, but it's not super easy to excavate them. You know, it's a lot of money to do it. You gotta get the equipment out there. He actually just said the day before we were there, they had just discovered more Mayan ruins closer to Costa Maya. So if you're in Costa Maya with probably the next 10 years, you're probably going to have a tour that's even closer than what we were. So, yeah. We then went back to the cruise port area. And I think that's all we really did. Brayden was starving again. He did not eat breakfast. Even though I ordered him room service, he did not eat it. So he had more tacos in Costa Maya at the cruise port, and then I just waited till we got on the ship to eat something. Did a little bit of shopping, and then there was one thing I did like about that cruise port area. Yes, I can tell that that area thrives off of the cruises, but it is very cool to see like a lot of the cultural perspectives. They had like lots of different shows, people walking around wearing like traditional outfits. So that's a kind of a cool part of that cruise port, but I don't know why it gets so much hate. People are like, oh, it's just a cruise port. Like, I don't know. A lot of people say that they don't even get off the ship anymore in Costa Maya. I think it's totally fine. I could see though, like once you do Costa Maya, I don't know if you like necessarily need to go back. I did hear some people like went to a beach. They took a taxi to a beach. It's either that or you like do the Mayan Ruins. Like there's not really a whole lot to do in that area. But yeah, those were our cruise ports. I've got really nothing else to report on that. I still film for like 30 minutes, but overall they were good cruise ports. I don't really have any complaints about them, other than I think we did get spoiled doing the Eastern Southern Caribbean and being spoiled by crystal blue waters. It's very different than Western. I think Western, when people ask like what do you prefer, Western Caribbean is definitely for your people who are a little more adventurous, want to snorkel, zip line, historical things. That's the route to go. If you're someone that's like, I just want to park my butt at the beach, go to the Eastern and Southern Caribbean. But again, you cannot go wrong with either one of them. We had a great time on both. We had very different experiences on both, and I got to experience ziplining and snorkeling that I've never done. And then on our last cruise did lots of, you know, new places that I've never been before either. So I'm gonna end the video here, and we'll hopefully have the very last video out soon. Don't know when. It will be before our very last trip for the year, which is planned for late July, early August. So you can count on it being out before then, because I always wipe out my camera from footage and all that to have it fresh. Especially where we're going, I'm gonna need a lot of storage. So thank you for watching. Hopefully next video will be out really soon, hopefully within like the next week or two, and then we'll wrap up our Norwegian escape experience and go on to our final trip of the year.